Happy Saturday morning, YouTube. Okay, I wanted to do a quick video because I know that my last video was really confusing. To be honest, I'm confused. I'm confused. So I had somebody comment, I'm more confused now. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I know, I'm confused too. So I wanted to talk about this and I'm going to show some, like, it's not really the details. It doesn't really matter like why exactly I was asking for this certain thing. What matters is that it was like given to me. So, okay. So sometimes I ask the universe for, or God, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I asked, but I'm just going to call it the universe in this particular video. So I asked the universe for something, and I had asked the universe for this certain date. And then it seems like within, I think actually at this point I had already asked for it, but like I had like put like a timeline on by the end of the day. Somehow the universe was going to send me this date. And it actually happened. So I have like proof. So I end up like taking pictures of all this stuff as much as I humanly possible. Okay, so I get this date, and and then I'm like, oh, thank you. So and then I knew this was gonna happen. And then I got like within like, I don't know, say like 2 weeks of getting that particular one, I was driving home from something and it was raining, and I just happened to go by, and then another license plate with that date on it. So I turn around and because I want to make sure, I don't want to, like, maybe I saw it wrong or something. So I turn around and I take pictures of it because I want to remember. I want to remember these moments when I'm having a moment of doubt, I guess. Okay, so and then it seemed like not that long after, I was buying a gift card for a friend, and this gift card had that date on it. Again, that year, that date, that year. Okay, this is so bizarre. Okay, so then I had asked for I had asked for this other number, this other 4 series of numbers. And if they didn't send it to me, I mean, they did. So I'm racing home one day from work, and I'm on a like, I don't know, some kind of like highway, I guess. And I'm racing home because I was supposed to do a meditation with I call them my girls. So I'm like racing, and I just happened to look, and there it was. Okay, so I took a picture, and it was a little bit dangerous what I was doing actually that day, because I'm like literally on the freeway, I'm taking this video. I'm like, this is not safe, but I just had to. I had to. And then like this other time, I admittedly watched too much TikTok. I admit that, and they somehow in the system, they had gotten wind of the fact that I liked a certain subject matter. And so they were pretty steadily sending me these having to do with psychic abilities. And I'm fairly skeptical about psychic abilities and like the amount of people who are claiming to have them. And I don't know, I'm a little bit skeptical about it, but they had sent me one, and they said, and this woman said it was like some kind of like metaphysical picture, and she put her hand on it. And so she was basically asking her listeners to practice their psychic abilities. Like, this is a way to practice your psychic abilities. And every time I have done this in the past, I haven't guessed it right. So so I was just sort of playing with it. And so she had her hand on something, and she said, well, what do I have my hand on? And I thought a frog, which is so random, right? Like, out of all the things I could ever think she had her hand on, it was a frog. Okay, so within within a very short amount of time, my daughter sends me this picture. Okay? Like, that is bizarre. That is so bizarre. Like, I can't even come up with this stuff. But anyway, I have mounds and mounds of these little, evidence of what I'm talking about, that I get a very steady stream of symbols, dates, things from the universe, and I call them my love notes. It's like they send me these love notes all the time, and I am so appreciative of them. But so I woke up this morning back in this space again. If and I use the word I very carefully, because I actually know that it's not me. I'm not doing this. I'm maybe putting out the intention, but it is the universe that is actually doing it. So let me just use the little word I, because, and let's just take it that I have this understanding that it's not me that's doing it. But if I can somehow create a frog in the hand, then what is happening with my broader desires in my life? And I'm just saying that, like, I have these opportunities, I have these things come to me, and I'm sort of going with them, and it almost feels like I go down that path and it's a dead end road. I go down this path and it's a dead end road. I feel like I'm just not entirely sure how to apply the things that are happening with these love notes to the broader part of my life. I just can't figure it out. So the theorists say that we have to that every time we ask, it is always given. Every time we ask, it is always given. Whatever it is always given. And then we must go into this receivership mode. Okay. And then they say that how we get to the receivership mode is to believe it already received. So we have this belief and we have the feelings around it already being received. But this is where the breakdown happens for me, because in certain circumstances, I really feel like I have been doing that. Like, there are times where I spend I just have this like imagination, and I'm like living in this imaginary space, and I'm, it's like I am this person that I am desiring. I am this experience that I am desiring to experience. But it has not yet come into my physicality. I would say one of them is, which is easier for me to talk about, is a large sum of money. This sense of financial freedom. And then I still kind of am holding on to this old paradigm that there is something that we have to do in order to have that sum of money come into our physicality. But that is not necessarily true, because it's like people have these like really weird, miraculous things happen all the time, where this huge lump of money comes in, and it's like, where did that come? Some long lost uncle sends them, $500,000, in an inheritance that they weren't expecting. I'm just talking, like, this stuff happens. Like, my daughter recently had this car come into or be gifted to her. So it is entirely possible that this thing could come into my physicality And I would say just because the universe is generous, not based on my worthiness or based on my doingness or my effort, but based on that I am loved, and the universe loves to love, the universe loves to give, and would give this to me because of its love for me. Okay. Okay. And so theorists would say that somehow I am blocking that. I am somehow blocking. I'm holding my umbrella, you know, up so that I'm not in a point of receivership somehow. And so this is where my dilemma is at. And I just wanted to kind of clarify because I actually understand that my last video was kind of confusing. But these are what I'm working on. And so I'm going to continue to give you updates as this thing goes down. If you are interested in my subject matter on a deeper level, you will want to check out my podcast, Blonde Hair Girl to Go, because I go into more detail in those podcasts than I do in my YouTubes about all of these subject matters. And so now I'm going to be going. I am working on my third writing. And I'm going to be going over to my favorite little place in town and seeing if they have my corn chowder. Sometimes they don't have my corn chowder, but I just love this soup. And I'm going to go write. Anyway, I appreciate you guys, and I will be back. Love you. And I will be back with other ideas.